Welcome to the Men of Iron podcast. This is Travis Albaneisus coming to you from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And I'm honored that you would listen in this morning. And because you're listening, here's what I know. I know you probably want to be a better man. You want to be a more godly man. You want to be a better leader in the workplace or in your organization. You want to be a better husband, father, a better friend. And all of that is worthy to aspire to. And the truth is, it's not easy. This world is tough. And we know that as an organization. And it's why we exist. We exist to equip you, to inspire you, and encourage you, and even pray for you as you pursue the mission that God is calling you to pursue. And so as you continue to engage with us at Men of Iron, you're going to hear us talk about this journey of manhood and compare the journey of manhood and spiritual growth and maturity to a mountain. And we use this imagery, and I want to explain it to you briefly this morning because it all goes to where I want to get to in just a couple minutes. But this mountain analogy, it all starts at base camp. And base camp is a place where a guy starts to recognize how difficult being a godly man in our current culture truly is. And it's where he starts to seek to discover ways that he can get better, where he can improve. And typically, if you're like me, I'm always looking for solid, free resources, things like podcasts or videos or articles that I can work through to help me grow both personally, professionally, but also to help me grow spiritually. And that's what base camp is. It's a place where you can go and you can be at base camp for as long as you want to be there. You can consume content on your own. You can put into action some of those lessons and some of those principles that you learn, and you can absolutely improve. But eventually, if you want to keep growing, you recognize that one of the fastest ways to grow or to get better is to do it in community with others. And I was talking to a friend of mine recently. He was talking to me about learning how to play the guitar. And he said it's good to practice on your own when you're learning guitar. But if you really want to get better, you should try to play in a group or to do it within a group of people who are also playing other instruments. And he says what it does is it gives you the ability to actually hide your flaws a little bit. You're able to chime in when the timing is right, and over time, you'll get better if you play within a group. The same is true for sports, right? If you want to play soccer, it's one thing to kick a soccer ball around on your own. It's a whole nother thing to put that ball on the ground and invite 3, 4, 5 other guys to come play with you. You'll get better quickly. And it's the same with your spiritual growth. When you're ready, you realize that when you really want to start to grow in a more meaningful way, that you need to seek out other like-minded guys who want to grow too. And that's what we call the pitch. You move out of the base camp into pitch. And this is a place where you come out of hiding in base camp and you take a risk, because you start to engage in small group conversations with others where you read scripture together. Maybe you watch some video content together. You discuss things. You pray for each other. You encourage each other as you seek to grow in your relationship with Jesus. But it's a next level of commitment because you're not doing it in private. You're doing it with others. And you're investing time, more time, to not just do it by yourself, but investing a night out of the week or a morning to connect with other men and to have some good conversation around growth. And this is a great place to be. And I know for me personally, this is where I spent years of my life trying to learn from others and grow in my relationship with Jesus, grow in my responsibilities as a father and a leader and as a husband. But it wasn't until I learned about Men of Iron that I really started to realize a truth that I didn't realize until it was pointed out to me. And here's the truth. It's that while groups are meaningful and they're definitely a solid place that we can grow, we only ever get so vulnerable and open and honest about what's going in our lives in the context of a small group. There's a limit to what I will share in the midst of a circle of guys. And you probably would agree if you're in a group or you've ever been a part of a group. See, if I really opened up, I would wonder what in the world the other guys would think of me or what they would say. And the truth is, first of all, I wouldn't want those guys knowing some of the deep personal struggles that I wrestle with, whether it's my marriage or my kids. But also, there's probably a few guys that would be sitting in that circle that I wouldn't want giving me advice in those areas of my life. So let me say, if you're in a small group and you're growing, that's great. Keep going. Keep growing. I think as men, we should always be a part of a small group of guys where we're doing those things and growing together. But for some of you, you've maybe been in a group for a while and you're wondering, is there another step that you can take that will really take your relationship with Jesus to the next level and help you grow in all different areas of your life? And if that's you, I have good news for you, because I've discovered what Men of Iron has been teaching and encouraging guys to do for years. And that is to get involved in a one-to-one mentorship. To get involved in a one-to-one mentorship. And what does that look like? Well, what is mentorship? There's a lot of ideas and thoughts around mentorship, and we're going to talk about that over the next couple weeks, so keep plugging into this podcast, because we really believe that mentorship is not just about finding a friend or a peer to be able to connect with and to be open and honest with. Like, that's still good. But true mentorship is finding someone who's a bit ahead of you, maybe even a season or two ahead of you, someone who's spiritually mature, someone who loves Jesus deeply, that you trust, that has characteristics that you admire. Maybe it's somebody that's in your small group or in your church or maybe even in your workplace. But that's true mentorship. It's inviting that man into a covenant mentor relationship. A man that you can bring your goals, right? We talk a lot about at Men of Iron the 5 F's, setting goals in your faith, your family, your friends, your fitness, and your finances. So establishing those goals and then bringing those goals to your mentor, your dreams, your aspirations. You bring them to a mentor who's going to encourage you, pray for you, guide you, possibly even open doors for you so that you can thrive in every area of your life. And maybe it's even a guy that you can get real with, a guy that you can get vulnerable with and share some of those deep struggles and even some of your sins with. Because guys, the truth is that sin grows in darkness. And if we're connected in a small group and we have something happening in our life that is sinful and we don't get it out and share it with somebody, guys, that sin is going to continue to grow. See, if you have sin in your life, if I have sin in my life and I'm carrying that around for a while and I can't shake it, guys, we need help. Because if we don't overcome it, that sin is going to prevent us from being able to experience all that following God and following Jesus has to offer. So even if you're in a small group, man, you can be carrying that sin around in your back pocket because you're not in a place or in an environment that you trust somebody enough to bring it out into the light. And let me tell you, Satan wants that sin in the darkness. He wants you to believe that if anyone were to find out about that sin that you're struggling with, that they would judge you, that they would shame you, and that it would hurt your reputation. But let me tell you something. Satan is a liar, and you know that to be true. See, if you keep that sin in the dark, guys, it's going to eat you alive, and you're going to get caught. And that shame is going to be so much stronger. But see, here's the deal. There's a more manly way to go about overcoming sin. And that's to confess it, to shine light on it. 1 Peter 4:9 says that you are a chosen people. You are a royal priest, a holy nation. You are God's special possession. And you know what he's doing? He's calling you out of the darkness into the light so that you can experience everything that he has to offer you. But here's the truth. You need someone you trust, someone that if you share it with, they'll listen to you. They won't judge you, but they'll hear it. They'll keep it confidential, and they'll help you find your way out of that sin. They're going to pray for you as you overcome it. Guys, that's something so unique and so special. And it's something I'm discovering through my involvement with Men of Iron and through my engagement in a one-on-one mentorship with my mentor, Jim. Guys, it's an iron sharpening iron relationship. And just to be real with you, like, hey, I struggle with sin too, right? It's all around us. And it's easy to make mistakes and to disobey God in different areas of our lives. And I had it happen to me not too long ago. And before Men of Iron, I didn't have a mentor. I had friends that I could share things with, but I didn't have a formal mentor, a man that was a season ahead of me that I could open up to and share things with. Somebody that would keep me and help guide me on the right path. Somebody who loved Jesus. But now when I mess up, I have someone I can share it with, and I do. I have someone that I've given permission to hold me accountable. I have someone that prays for me and encourages me and who wants to see me win and succeed as a man of God. Someone who's rooting for me as a husband. Someone who's rooting for me as I'm a father to my children. Someone who wants to do everything he can to help me live a life of integrity so I can be a leader in the workplace. Do you have that? Another question is, do you want that? And I have good news, because that's what we do at Men of Iron. We help you climb this challenging mountain of manhood by helping you first get to base camp, but then when you're ready, work to move you into the pitch so that you can get in the small group community with others and grow. But then our hope is that we can start to nudge you out of that pitch, that small group. Again, we always want you to remain in that small group of guys, but we also want to nudge you to move into mentorship, because that's where we believe that as a man, you need to be in a place where you can really grow, where you can combat sin and you can follow Jesus. Guys, we want you to experience all that Jesus has for you by living in the light. So where are you on the mountain? In the next few weeks, we're going to be talking specifically to those of you who are seeking to climb to the summit. Those of you who are seeking mentorship. And maybe you're ready right now, right? Even as I'm sharing with you a little bit about my experience with mentorship. And if that's you, I just want to encourage you, go to our website, scroll down, click on the summit link, and fill out an application to be a protege or a mentor. And someone from our team will contact you, will help you think through how to get started in a rock-solid mentorship. Fellas, we're not only called to be disciple makers, we're also called to be disciples. So ask yourself the question, are you a disciple? And if so, who are you intentionally discipling? And if you're struggling to answer either one of those questions, come back next week, because we're going to discuss more about what it means to be a mentor, to be a protege, and to take part in fulfilling one of the greatest missions that God has called his people to. So listen, this week, shine bright and keep climbing your mountain.